What's good, y'all? It's Mikey T, the movie star. Let's get right back into it. You know what we're discussing today? We're getting right back into the book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. So I've gone over stories about Lloyd Banks. I've gone over stories about Tony Yayo. And now today we're going to get to the big story. We're going to get to the story of how 50 Cent acknowledged having wanted to sign Bang Em Smurf at one point in his career. That's right. We're going to go into that today. All right, everybody. Everybody who's watching, I want you all to follow me. I'm going to follow everybody back who follows me on Instagram. It's Mikey T _ the movie star. Everybody who follows me, I'm going to follow y'all back. That's how we do things. Everybody subscribe to Report Card Radio, and let's get into this exclusive. So in this book, 50 Cent actually broke down everything in regard to why he kicked Smurf out of G Unit. He broke down actually being interested in bringing Smurf over to G Unit in the first place. And that's what we're going to touch on in this episode. So 50 had brought Smurf on tour. He said he brought him on tour to showcase himself, to keep on moving. Everybody saw the videos back in the day of Smurf on the stage, sharing the stage with Banks and Yayo. Smurf would usually have a bulletproof vest on, and he'd usually be swinging a towel or something, or throwing some water. You know, he'd be doing what the G Unit guys were doing on stage. And at this point, I thought Smurf was just a friend of 50 Cent. I thought he was one of the quote-unquote goons of 50 Cent. And it was never acknowledged really by 50 ever in the past that Smurf was actually signed to the label. It was never acknowledged that he was bringing Domination over to the label, or that he had an artist or anything like that. You never really heard about Smurf in that capacity. You saw him on the New Breed DVDs. You saw him talking. You saw him around 50. This was like the underboss of G Unit, you would think. He was the henchman of G Unit. If you had Banks and Yayo and Buck, who were the artists, you had Smurf and the other guy. You really never got to know the gangster members of G Unit at that point, like who I've learned about now, El Dorado, Ice. You never really got to see these guys and actually know who they were, but for some reason you knew who Bang Em Smurf was. And that's why 50 saw the guy and he's like, there's something about that guy. I got to bring him out on tour with me. And 50 admitted it in his book. He said, I wanted to bring Bang Em on tour so he could get more exposure, so he could start showing himself off to the world. Just like how 50 would do for Banks and Yayo and on the forthcoming, like the Rock the Mic tour, how he brought Buck out and all them guys out on that tour, the Anger Management tour with Eminem and all that. 50 used himself to get exposure for his other stars, even for people like for like a Hot Rod, you know what I'm saying? People like that who really were who weren't really well known. They got the chance to go and perform in front of 60,000 people. You had Bang Em Smurf throwing water in front of 20,000 people, you know. That's what prompted the man to go to the Summer Jam and throw chairs at him. He's like, all right, I could be on there on stage with you doing it with you, or I could be in the front crowd doing it against you. So that's what we're looking at today, though. We're looking at about the fact that Bang Em Smurf was actually acknowledged as an artist that 50 Cent at one point wanted to sign. So 50 later went on to say that after the two of them departed and they no longer worked together, Smurf had gone to jail. 50 told Smurf, it's not my job to bail you out. Smurf, apparently, he got out of jail, he made bond, and he actually brought a couple artists at this point to G Unit. And 50 says in the book that he never really took interest with any of Bang Em Smurf's artists. I kind of find that hard to believe when back in the day when I could bring up a clip right now with Smurf saying that 50 had used one of Domination's lyrics. I could bring up an old interview with Domination or an interview with Smurf where Domination at one point had created an album. He created a mixtape. It was the Groundwork mixtape series. And 50 actually called Smurf and he said, hey, make sure you put the G Unit logo on Domination's mixtape. He called to make sure that the the logo for G Unit was on Domination's mixtape. That sounds like he took interest to me. But I don't think when 50 mentioned in the book that Smurf had brought him other artists, I don't think that he was talking about Domination. I think Domination was actually somebody who he was invested in. I think that's one of the guys who he looked at Smurf and he was like, all right, I could see why. He wasn't looking to sign Smurf as an artist. He was looking to sign Smurf in the capacity of being his own boss, running a record label, just like how he was going to have Game with the West Coast, Young Buck with the South. 50 was trying to set his roster up as record label owners. It was going to be a huge dynasty under G Unit. So we get past that, and Smurf had some other artists that 50 said he just took no interest in. It could have been a 5 or 6 year old, 10-year-old rapper, Dice, who was sort of like in the Little Romeo, Little Bow outfit. Smurf was trying to work some ideas. He had this other gangster rapper. He had this other gangster rapper, Big Swing, I guess. Maybe that guy didn't really catch the attention of 50, but Smurf had a bunch of dope ideas. Even to this day, Smurf comes up with dope ideas every minute. He's been involved with reality TV shows. He's created his own book, Wisdom of the Wolf. Everybody, we've actually created our own podcast that we've been doing for the last couple of years called Keeping It Real. That's based off of the fact that I went to Trinidad in 2009, and I filmed one of the first blogs with Smurf that was titled Keeping It Real, where he exposed the whole story of Suge Knight running up on the In the Club video shoot. But I'm going to tap out right now because we're going to come back with the exclusive about why 50 actually kicked Bang Em Smurf out of G Unit. He detailed it in the new book. For some reason, he felt the need to detail kicking Bang Em Smurf out of G Unit. So that's going to be the next story, and then we're going to come back and just keep y'all updated with everything going on. I got the Philly news covered. I got the New York news covered. You know what's up. It's Report Card Radio. Everybody who's watching this, follow me on Instagram, Mikey T _ the movie star. Everybody who follows me, I'm going to give you the follow back. We can keep in tune. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody for tuning in.